Hi, hello everyone. Myself Raghavendra. I am a full stack developer. Let's learn something about Java, and the topic for today is Java generics. In a way, it's called as parametric polymorphism. What is parametric polymorphism? It's an ability for a function or a type to be written in such a way that it handles values identically without depending on knowledge of their types. Such a function or type is called a generic function or data type. This has been first introduced in ML language in 1976. Now it's part of many other languages like Java, Haskell, Delphi, etc. The reason being this topic is to achieve you flexible general code without sacrificing type safety. Most commonly, this is used in collections and also used in reflection, which can be seen later in point of time. Okay. In Java collections before 1.4 version, what used to happen is the initial Java collection used to store values of type object. They could store any type since all types are subclasses of object, but you had to you have to cast the results, which was tedious and error prone. Examining the elements of a collection was not type safe. Example, let's say you have an array list with names and you're adding two elements to this with of type string, and you want to, when you're trying to get this get the particular zeroth element in the list, it was fine because array list actually contains only strings. Let's say now you're trying to get that and cast into a different reference type, in this case point, which is not of type string. Now we'll run into problems. Earlier to Java 1.4, this used to be a problem and we used to run into crashes or runtime exceptions. Okay, so that's the reason we introduced Java generics. Let's look at one simple example and understand the problem statement before we get on to Java generics. Okay, so let me create a class. Just name it as list. Okay, and I'll add two elements to this, two properties maybe. So I'll just name as items, new int 10. Let's say private int count, and also let me add two methods, and one would be int. We'll take a number and I'll increment the count every time as we receive a number. Let me try to get the method and say pass the index and return items of index. Okay, now let's write a main test method, main test class. In this one, I'll try to create an object of my list, whatever I created. Custom list is equal to new list. So I'll say add 10, it works, and then let's say I add 24, it works. Now let's say if I want to add other than integers, this becomes the problem. So we can't do that. Okay. So then let's say now I want to add list of maybe users. Okay. Let me create a user class. And I will go and I'll modify all of them to users. This would still remain index. This would be a user. Okay. Now, as you saw, if this breaks now, obviously, because I want to only add users. Now I need to pass new user and I have to say new user. Okay, now this works for user. Okay, now what happens if tomorrow I want to pass some other things, for example, string. Now again, I have to modify the list. Or if I have to pass some other reference type, again, I have to modify the list. That means it's not going to be that easy to keep on modifying the same list again and again. So this is a problem we can have. Now let's look at solving this in two different ways. I will first suggest to solve this problem in a poor way. Okay, what is the poor way? Let's see. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of this list like this, having user or integer, I'll make this as object. Works, right? So I will now accept it as object. And instead of this, I'll return as object. It works. It kind of solve my problem. Let's see and add 120. Okay, so it's still not completely modified. I guess, yes, it is not. Okay, now it went away. And now I'll pass Raghav. And now I'm gonna pass true. It still has problem, isn't it? Okay, now in this case, we are not supposed to, like, this is a good solution, but a kind of a solution which solved our problem, but it creates some other repercussions which we not intend to get that. Let's what that is. Let's say in this one, I'm gonna say dot get of 0. I just can't take it to in this case it may be a user, but see, even though it's an user, I need to cast this. And next I'll say maybe I'll say list of 5. Now user 2. It's programmatically valid, but if we try to run this, I'll get runtime exception, isn't it? Okay, now to address such kind of a problems, we now introduce something called as generics. That's why we're trying to head on next. That is type parameters. Okay, instead of me giving each and every type like string, user, or integer, I'm going to introduce something called as type parameters, and we call it as generics. And we need to pass a type in a angle bracket. The example is this. Since Java 1.5, when constructing a Java util.ArrayList, we specify the type of the elements it will contain between angle brackets. Okay, and we say the ArrayList class accepts type parameter, or that is generic class. Use of a raw type ArrayList without angle brackets leads to warnings. Let's consider the same example in our case. Okay, now I'll completely modify this into a generic list. I'll just say there is a convention that you can use any of the I'm just making this particular class to a generic class. How I'm doing that? By introducing a generic type. So there are multiple ways you can achieve this. We can use for type, and we can use for element, and we can use v for values, and there are many more. So I'll just keep it to these 3 for now, and I'll continue and modify the entire elements of this particular class 2, which should comply to this generics. Now I'll just say, and now I can't make this as t like this. This is not the way to create. So instead of this, we keep object as it is as a workaround to continue. Okay, and so I'll just make this as t, and then I'll make this as t. I need to, instead of this, I'll just cast this to t, because we at this point we do not know what kind of type I'm passing to this particular list. So is the reason we have to create this particular array with the object and then cast it to t, because at this point of time we'll know what kind of type we'll be passing here. Okay, that's very important to understand. Now let's try to create the object for this one. So let's see. I'll come back to this one and I'll say list of integer list is equals to new list. Okay. Now I'll say list dot add. As soon as I say add, by default, it got converted to integer. Actually speaking, if you see, in this case, I have given as t and t here, but as soon as I give say add, it is already showing me the compiler, the ID which I'm using is IntelliJ. The IntelliSys is showing me that we have to add int. That means it will only accept integer because we have bounded it to the integer. Because of generics, the problem what we used to face without generics is now being avoided. So we can now only add only list of integer. That would be now this integer list. Let's say if I add, see, now if I say string here, it will give me compilation error. We were able to successfully achieve what we used to see as a problem before, now seems to be been gone. Okay, so this is not a valid thing, and that's the problem we try to solve. Okay. Now let's move on and understand what else we can leverage by this generics. Okay, I'll just remove this for now because it's not a good way of coding, and I'll move on to next portion of it. Okay. Now let's understand how we can implement generics and leverage the other features of generics. Now let's say if you want to make a class generic, and the syntax would be public class and the name of the class, the type. The same way we have just done the modifications here. Okay. And by putting the type inside the angle brackets, you are demanding that any client that constructs your object must supply a type parameter. You can require multiple type parameters separated by commas. We call it as multi-type parameters. We'll see that in later as an example. The rest of your class codes can refer to the type by name. The convention is to use one letter name such as T for type, E for element, N for number, K for key, and or V for value. So you can use any alphabet what comes in your 26 alphabets. If you can use say A, it's valid. You have to modify all the other keys to the A. Or if you want to use T, Z, you can use Z. Perfectly fine. But the entire class must have that particular same alphabet. Okay. And that's what we learned for today. And this is the problem we just saw and we addressed also. When we try to create a class of public foo and we try to create this one, it won't allow for us to create the object because and at the first the example is this. Earlier it was when I tried to give here, it used to give me error because at this point of time we do not know what is the type of the like the reference that we're getting. So we can't do that. So we can't create objects or array of parameterized type. So then what we can do is we need to create an object by the object. We have to create the object with using object class, and then we have to typecast it to the T. That means whatever is incoming. But you can create variables of the type and accept as a parameter and return them, or create arrays by casting them to casting from object array. Okay, so that's the point which we have learned, and let's understand how we can compare generic objects. Okay, this is one of the way we can actually do this. So whenever we have a array list, in our case E they have given because they are trying to seek this as an element. Okay, so I just mentioned in the previous one E for element, D for type, like that. In this case, public int index of E value is the example which you're trying to understand. In this one, whenever you want to compare the value, you're not supposed to compare by equality. You're always supposed to use dot equals when you're comparing the generic objects. That's the convention. Okay, so let's understand. This is a simple method which I have not completely implemented. I've only implemented the first method and the third method. So add and get, because with that those two examples which pretty much we can understand every other stuff. This is what generally generic interface of our list would look like ideally. If you go to the if you decompile and check the list interface, you will get all these classes. Let's understand generic methods. Now, having generic the way we made class a generic class, the same way we can make a non-generic class having a generic method. Okay, I'll just show you an example of how we can do that. So let's try to create a class called as utils. Okay. Inside this utils, I'll try to create one simple method. Okay, so I'll just say public static void print, and I'll say I'll accept okay, I'm gonna print this particular. What I'm gonna do is I'll just say accept integer key and integer value. Let's try to put this out. Key would look like key and value would look like value. Okay, there's a problem. I have to put the plus. It's not so generic, right? Let's try to get this and in our main, and I'll see what happens. Utils dot print in comma 20. I'll run this. Running, compiling. Okay, key and value. Okay, this is how it looks. Key and value. So this is not generic. This won't accept now. This will only accept integer values now. Let's try to make this a generic and let's see how it looks. Instead of integer, I'll just say k. Means the convention says if you have two of the, if you want to convert your method having which will accept two generic types, then you have to pass e comma value in this format. By doing this, you can literally pass anything to this particular method, which will accept any key and any value of any type. So let's try to, I'll just say Raghav and Keshav. Let's run this and check. It works perfectly fine. So that is one of the method which is actually a generic method. Let's understand one more method. I'll just say public static void copy elements from one list to other. I know it's a big method name, but it would specify your, so list of type source comma list of type destination. Okay, what I'm supposed to do for such cases is before void I have to specify, I have to make this method a generic by putting as, by putting like this. Now this will, there is no compilation error. So, and now what I have to make here is I'll just iterate through one list. The rest is not difficult. I'll just say source destination dot add of t. That's it. Okay, so it's saying it's not applicable because of the further inventions of this. Okay, maybe instead of this list, I'll just use util list. And let's say what happens because my list causes some problems. Yes, I'm trying to make this generic one by the way of our implementation, and that's how it looks. It works fine because my list doesn't have all those implementation what the actual utils list contains. So that's why I'm kind of modified the implementation of this. And let's try to test this out and see what happens. Let's do one list of, I will say integer guest list is equals to new array list of integer. Maybe I have to give here both the things. Yes, I was expecting this. Add 10, 20. Now I'll say utils, utils dot test list, comma, copy list. Let's see what happens in this case. I'm gonna pass this list, and just after that, I'm gonna print this copy list, and let's see what happens. Cool. This we got printed in here, and we have both the values, and this is working.